government officials insist that this...
That BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son.
Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert.
Urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself.
4-year-old Daniel Robinson, and this is a very, very odd mystery.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley.
His parents, David and Melissa, need our help.
I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson.
His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
God knows how much we can bear, you know, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
And, identify they were human leg bones.
But you know what? It's still urgent to me as a father because, you know, we found human remains out here.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And, you know, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search.
How does a young man vanish off the face of the earth? How does that happen? No record, no sightings, nothing. He's just gone. And when I say a young man, I'm talking about 25-year-old Daniel Robinson. He is the apple of his parents' eye. A young geologist, music lover, good-looking, great grades, the works. So why can't we find Daniel? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. And his dad, David Robinson, is using the GoFundMe money to fund his own investigation and the desperate search for his boy, his son, Daniel Robinson, 25 years old. What happened to him? How did he just disappear? David Robinson, sir, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me, when you first realized your son just hadn't called in a couple of days, that he was truly missing.
Yes, my son, on the 23rd, I did get a call from my daughter. She also lives out in Phoenix. And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
You know, everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
Good evening, everybody. Good day. This is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son Daniel, a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, came out to Arizona to start his career in geology. He got hired on with a company called Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater, as a field geologist, also called hydrogeologist. As you guys know, my son had went missing off his job site out in the Sonoran Desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June 23rd of 2021. I've been out here since that time fighting for my son. I've been fighting by conducting desert searches, weekly desert searches out there. Covered at least 40 some weeks of searches, as well as over 32 to 35,000 acres of land searching for my son. Since then, I also have been doing the flyer distributions as well. Had the city searches as well, which the city searches turned into that flyer distribution. Putting out thousands and thousands of flyers, billboards from the east side of Phoenix all the way out to the west side on I-10 corridor, and also, like I said, have things like they'll have right now in the outreach. I've been on dozens and dozens of interviews and things like that, getting my son's story out there, and constantly fighting for his story to stay out there and to the public, as well as bringing awareness, as well as out there in the desert fighting for him, and also helping others as well. So as you know, I'm still here in Arizona. You guys have been helping me from day one. The first time I came out here, I didn't know what to expect, and I think no family would know what to expect when they come out searching for their loved one. So it was very unexpected. I did come out here. I asked God to help me, and I reached out to the community, and the community reached back out to me. So I'm really grateful for you guys for all that you have been doing from day one. Since I've been out here in Arizona, you guys have been keeping me here, keeping my boots on the ground. That's one of the most important things, is for me to be here, to be able to fight for my son, and also to put the pressure on the Buckeye Police Department and all the others who can somehow help me getting the answers into what happened to my son. As you know, I also have been starting my own investigation. I've hired a private investigator, so that's where you guys know where all the information that we know about my son's vehicle, to the time the first incident happened, things like that. So I've been working very hard every day, trying to find new ways to find my son. As you know, some of the searches, the desert searches, have been stalled, for a time because of funding. One of my major goals is to get the forensics work done. That wasn't done on the scene. I want to make sure that everything is done, because those are the answers that I need. I've been fighting since that time to try to get the forensic, the money up for the forensics, to get the forensics done, because that's the key to a lot of things I have been finding out in my own investigation. There's some things I can't put out to the public, of course, but I do have some forward moving. So, like I said, you guys have been keeping me here, keeping me having the ability to do some my own investigations, to be able to go forward. I'm going forward to those answers that I need to find out what happened to my son. And the only way I can tie those things in to what I already know is the forensic work. So that's what I'm coming to you guys today for, that continued help. You guys have been donating to the GoFundMe. I'm at the 300-something thousand dollar goal. I'm trying to reach that goal. So if you guys can, please, if you have anything that you can, no matter if it's small or large, I need your help to continue on my fight here on the ground, keep my boots on the ground, and continue what I have been doing from day one. I've been here fighting for my son's honor, fighting for his justice. I have the petition for you guys. I really appreciate it, guys. And when you do sign that petition, you put your voice there and make your voice known for my son and everything I believe in. Because, one of the biggest travesty in my son's case is at the beginning. The first 24 to 48 hours is the most crucial moment. We didn't receive that. The first initial search for my son with the helicopter search and going out in that desert was almost 3 days after my son went missing. There was an assumption at the beginning. The reason why they didn't act immediately is because my son, according to them, is a grown man. If he wants to disappear, if he wants to, and that was a big assumption that caused that. So, and also the fact that I had to wait an extra 3 hours because I didn't make that 12-hour wait time before I can report my son missing. So things like that causes a case like my son's to be hampered. Because we know, like I said, they have a whole entire show called The First 48 Hours, and that really matters. Detectives need those hours to really get to work immediately. And when those things are done, that time click, and that's put a shorter, make it harder for an investigator to find the answers to what those things are. So that's what happened in my son's case at the beginning. As you guys know, from that point on, I have been doing all my searches on my own. Have never had to organize anything in my life in terms of volunteers. And you guys, I have done that. Like I said, my searches have collected, not collected, but found other human remains, bringing some closure to some other families out there whose family loved ones out there in the desert. In the same desert, Sonoran Desert, where my son was missing. So my searches have been fruitful. Has been finding other articles like cell phone and also clothing items. In the same matter, my son clothing was found, or allegedly my son's clothing was found at that crash site. So there's a lot of fruitfulness came out of the searches, as well as like I said, you guys have been getting those flyers out. I have a flyer distribution program. I've sent out flyers to people, and also have a PDF on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And even also in my efforts to find my son, I was reaching out to help other families as well. I founded the Daniel Robinson Foundation, We're still working on this as an infancy stage right now, but we're working on that. That foundation is geared to help other families not to go through some of the things that I had to go through just to get some national attention, just to get some help out there in the searches, the resources that I needed that I never received out there in the desert search and things like that. So this foundation would be very helpful for other families as well. I have some things I'll stroll on the bottom on the screen that I want you guys to remember as well as the Day of Remembrance. You know, that was birthed because of the help of other families. As you know, according at this time here, it's being rescheduled because of a court decision on that weekend. But we have that rescheduled, and we want to make sure families be able to take advantage of that. And also, I have this YouTube channel. Please help find Daniel YouTube channel to get Daniel's story out there, because we know, and you guys, if you can, please like and share to Please Help Find Daniel YouTube channel, because we know that we definitely have to keep your person's story alive. My son's story did get national attention, but it took me 3 months to get there. It took me 3 hard months trying to work really hard to get local coverage, as well as putting his name out there in social media. When it finally caught through a retweet of a tweet that went viral, as well as you know, some things that happened unfortunately in another family that helped booster Daniel's story up. But you know, ever since then, that story dies, you know what I'm saying, with the media, because they look for new things. That's when I had to make sure as a father that Daniel's story don't end just there with the news media. So of course I got this YouTube channel to keep his name out there, try to build this channel, so you guys can help me in that way as well. Help me build a YouTube channel to be able to get Daniel's story out, as well as being able to help other families who have missing loved ones. They can also do the same. As you know, your funding has always helped me, or also helped me with my tip line. There's a paid tip line here, 24 hours, 7 days a week tip line with live operators that could take a call. So it's for that person or those persons who know and who have those answers to what happened to my son, to utilize this number. So I keep this number flowing. Like I said, 24 hours, 7 days a week, live operators. They would answer the call, and that person who called that number can stay anonymous if they like. If they don't want to talk to anyone, they can do what's on the bottom screen as well. They can just text the word tip to that number, and they still can remain anonymous. The text the word tip, the form come up, they can actually fill that form out, give me the tip that I need to bring my son home, and they don't have to speak to anybody. He still can remain anonymous. So definitely utilize that tip number. Also, if I have, like I said, a flyer distribution program for those who want to distribute flyers out there, become an ambassador for your city. So you guys can hit Please Help Find Daniel at yahoo.com and request those things as well. That really helps getting Daniel's story out, as well as an infrastructure to the Daniel Robinson Foundation in the future, to help other families when we have to get their flyers out as well. So that's very helpful if you guys can participate in that. Also, if anybody want to contact me, Please Help Find Daniel at yahoo.com, or the number you see down on the bottom of the screen there, 803-200-7994. You can reach me. Also, if you want to help and volunteer in other ways, there's other volunteer other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can always go out there and put your skill sets there, because like I said, that skill sets will go towards the foundation once it's in its completion of the infancy stage, as well as helping us now some things I have to have done in my efforts to find Daniel. So you guys can always go and go to the Please Help Find Daniel.com website for all that kind of information. So I really appreciate you guys for listening to me. But like I said, my whole goal is right now to remain here in Arizona, and I need your help. I need your help. I need to reach this goal. You go to the GoFundMe, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and go on the donate tab, and you can donate there. I really need to get this, get up to that number there that goal that I'm trying to reach. And if you guys can help me get to that goal, I'll be very appreciative. I have a lot of work to still continue. It's been a continual effort from day one. I have been working. I have not been on vacation. I have not been here on some joy trip. I've been working every day hard, day and night, working, trying to find my son. So you guys can help me to remain here keep my boots on the ground, as well as keep my efforts going for everything I'm doing to find my son. This is a big movement, because, a lot of families don't get the opportunity to go out and look for their loved ones. But God has blessed me to be able to be here and go out and find my son. And I need your help. I can't do it alone. I would never be able to do it alone. So I just want to tell you, thank you guys for your time. And please, by all means, like I said, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com under the donation tab, and you can donate there. I'm really, really trying to reach that goal. So if you guys can get me there, I really appreciate it. God bless you. And I hope you have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, or whatever time it is for you. And God bless you and everybody that you love. Thank you.
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at the College of Charleston.
Good job.
You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink, and now I trust your gentle hand, even when I can't understand. I know your voice, I'm not afraid, walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
And I am still currently searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this morning's Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. For you all that have just joined in for the first time, my son Daniel Robinson is a geologist, graduated from the College of Charleston, and he pursued his career out in Phoenix, Arizona, where he first started off. He came out here to Arizona, like I said, to span his horizons, to, just build his life up here in Arizona. He really loved this place. It's an ideal place for a geologist. My son landed his first job immediately coming out to Arizona with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. His job, what he does is he go out to various well sites all over Arizona. At those well sites, he go out there to check the viability of those well sites. Those wells help to produce at least 100 years of water, and they have to be, every community built in Arizona have to have these wells, and those, like I said, those wells have to produce at least 100 years of water. And Daniel's job is to determine that, as well as check this rock sediments or the rock sediments inside of the water. So his job is very important. Daniel has been doing that for almost 3 years with this company. And on June the 23rd last year, 2021, he was doing the same thing. He get his work assignments. He have a work laptop that he uses. He get his work assignments from there. He go out to wherever the location that he was given to that day. He went to 2 well sites that day. He supposedly, allegedly, he went to the first well site around 7 o'clock that morning, completed that job. And then after that, he called a worker from a company called Weber to meet him out to the second well site. That worker, according to that worker, he directed my son how to get to Sun Valley Parkway and off the Cactus Road area there. And they met on the side of the road. This worker said once they met, they had a brief conversation. My son followed him into that desert. They had to drive 1 mile west and then into that desert. and 1 mile, 2 mile north to get to this well site. Once they arrived at the well site, roughly around 9 o'clock that morning, this worker said he and my son had a brief conversation there, at least about 10-minute conversation. And from that conversation, after the conversation about the weather, Daniel got in his vehicle and drove off. It never have been seen again. As you know, many of you know, my son's vehicle was found in this ravine right here behind me. That's almost 3 miles away from that work site, farther into that in the remote area of that desert, inside of a 20-foot ravine. And at that ravine, my son's vehicle was turned over here. You see on the side there, outside the vehicle, 3 feet away from the vehicle, is supposed allegedly my son's clothing that was taken off his body, pants inside out. His wallet was found with his clothing, as well as his cell phone was found inside the vehicle, and his work computer and things like that. So, but there was no Daniel, as you know. So, you guys know I've been here since June 26th, searching for my son. I was the person that put in the missing person report. From there, I came out faster. I was going to come out here anyway if they didn't find Daniel at the moment when I put the police report in. But what made me come out a little faster is because the Buckeye Police Department told me they weren't going out in that desert to put a bird in the air to go search for my son. Have heard that because their assumption was that my son is a grown man. If he want to disappear, he can. So without any kind of clue that my son said he want to do anything like that, just disappear on his own. So those type deals caused me to be out here. And I've been fighting for Daniel ever since. So you guys can ask me some questions. That's what the Q&A is for this morning, for you guys to ask the questions that you need about my son's case. I can answer all the questions that I can. The ones that I can't, I can be honest with you and tell you I don't have those answers, or if they have something to do with my own investigation. As you know, you guys know from the scene here behind me, on June, or today, matter of fact, the day is July the 20th, today last year, the Buckeye Police Department turned this vehicle over to me, showed me the vehicle in their compound for the first time. I've seen that vehicle for the first time. As you can imagine, last year, this time I was supposed to have been in Arizona because we had plans for myself, my daughters, as well as Daniel had plans for me to be here in Arizona in July to see his vehicle for the first time. He was going to show it to me. But the way I had to see this vehicle on July the 20th, today, last year, is in this condition that you see right here in this ravine. The vehicle was found on July the 19th, but the Buckeye Police Department claimed they did so heavily search the area. One thing I did find out about the rancher who found the vehicle, he told me that the Buckeye Police instructed him not to alert the family, not to alert the media, don't tell anybody the vehicle was found. Though I was out there in that desert for weeks and weeks with hundreds of volunteers trying to rescue my son out there in that desert, they decided not to tell me on the 19th when the vehicle was found. But they did call me that morning on the 20th, almost a little over 24 hours later, and told me that the vehicle was found and Daniel was not. And the reason why they said they wasn't telling me is because they didn't want to disturb my sleep. So that was very ridiculous. They did take me had me come out to the police department where they explained, just gave me a picture similar to this, explained to what happened, what they feel happened to my son with that one picture and 2 maps. And then I followed him to the compound where they had my son's vehicle stored. Like I told you guys on today last year, the Buckeye Police Department detective, once he showed me the vehicle, I couldn't take it anymore. I was in an emotional state. He told me, and it felt threatening to me, if I didn't get that my son's vehicle out of there, they'll have a total away and I had to pay storage fees. So the vehicle was turned over to me that day. I called back and I convinced him to hold it for 3 days for me until I can find out where I can have this vehicle stored or towed, because I'm not from Arizona. And then from that point on, I did call back to have them put a tarp on the vehicle. I was wanting to come up there myself, but they said they would do that for me. But in the meantime, like you guys know, a few days after that, I was able to have a meeting with the chief of police, the assistant chief at the time, and as well as his whole entire staff, those detectives. So you guys can understand today was a hard day for me, because that's and me and my family as well. Because like I said, yesterday was very hard to remember that. For me, it was the first time I see my son's vehicle was last year today, and it was, like I said, one of the hardest moments to see the condition of that vehicle and don't have your child. I'd rather have Daniel than I have that vehicle, and that's what the information that was given to me at the time. There was nothing indication how they can find Daniel. Like I said, even with the heavy searches, they said they used cadaver dogs and search dogs and everything, and I haven't found my son. So you guys can understand that as well. I'm here today to, like I said, do the Q&A as I always do, but as well, on the bottom screen you see here, do not forget today is the fast and prayer for Daniel. I try to do it every Wednesday that's of the month that's closer to the 23rd anniversary date. In a sense, I hate to use the word anniversary, but the date every 30 days of a date of the 23rd when my son went missing will mark another month. It's been over a year now that Dane's been missing, and those months adding on is ticking on. But you know what? My efforts and stuff is going forward. I'm still pressing. I'm not going backwards. I'm going forward. So I need you guys to help me out, to continue your help and stuff like that, because I'm definitely going forward and to find my son. I'm not going backwards. So today, like I said, is the fast and prayer for Daniel. I hope you guys can join in with me today on the fast and prayer. It's not just for Daniel as well. As you know, guys, I've been doing it every month. You guys know it's also for other families who have missing persons in their life as well. Because the same thing, God is a big God. And the same thing I'm asking God to do for me, give me the guidance, the wisdom, and the knowledge. This help me. This help me in any form. God to help me to direct me to my son's location, help me direct me in everything I'm doing in my efforts. Also to help me help other families. You know what I'm saying? So you guys could join in with me, because I believe in unity. When there's unity, there's strength. You guys can join in me. We all together in one mind, one thought, and saying, hey, look, this is what we asking God, petition God for answers. Prayers is strong. So I really believe in prayer. And I think that whenever all of us get together and pray and we petition God, we get some answers. One way, because every time we do fast prayer, some things do happen, and I'm really grateful. Saying God has His own time, and I really have faith in that. He has His own time when He will give me those answers I really want. What I really want is to bring my son home. So He definitely would give me that. But in the meantime, like I said, all these blessings. I've been here over a year now, still fighting. A lot of people wouldn't be able to say that. They have been out searching for their child or their loved one, and continue to do so over a year. So I thank God, first of all. I thank my family as well as you guys for your love and support. Like I said, I couldn't do this alone. So thank you guys for that. What I do is I also usher in the fast and prayer with prayer. So what I want to do is have you guys to join in with me in the prayer to start the fast and prayer. Like I tell you every time, if you guys, I leave that up to you, how long the live time you want to do your fast and prayer. That's between you and God. I just want you to join in with me on this fast and prayer. And, if you can. And then what I would do on this evening, I do have a Q&A this evening, prime time. I would do another prayer to end the fast and prayer for Daniel, but that don't mean it's necessarily ended, but that's on the time I have that I do my Q&As is always at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So I will be doing the prayer then to end it, because I won't be back on at a later time, and then go ahead and end it that way with a prayer. And if you guys want to continue, like I said, that's between you and God and your own conscience. But definitely, if you guys can come back also on that Q&A to prime time, I definitely be there doing that as well. So if you guys can, those who want to join in with me, I want you to close bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord Jesus, for this day. I thank you, God, for being mighty in the earth. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for your name. I thank you for waking me up this morning. I thank you for providing all our debris and our needs. Thank you for those, Lord, who's joining in with me in this prayer, bringing us unity and strength. We come together, Lord, asking you and to petition you, Lord, for answers. We petition you for a lot of things, Lord. We ask you to help other families as well. As you know, I'm coming to you right now to ask you to give me wisdom, strength, knowledge, understanding. Put me in the right places in the right time to find my son. Give me those tools and things that I need to do so. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for blessing us to come together in this Q&A today. There's a lot of people, Lord, Lord, you know their hearts and desire and their mind. They also have needs, other needs. Some families right now is praying along with me. They have missing loved ones. They don't say nothing. They don't have a voice. But Lord, give them a voice. Lord, bless them, Lord, for their person name to get out there. Help them find them answers and stuff that they need as well. So, Lord, we thank you, Lord. We know you're a mighty God. You can do all things, Lord. We can do all things through you. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for this moment, this opportunity. We ask you, Heavenly Father, right now to bless these families, bless our family, keep my family strong, keep me strong, keep our minds sharp. And we thank you, Heavenly Father, for all your many blessings. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless those who have those needs, those special needs as well. That's out here, their families, those who are sick, those who have needs financially. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless them as well. You know their desires and their hearts, what they really need. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to also, like I said, Lord, please bring our families together. Lord, we can find these common answers. We ask you, Lord, Heavenly Father, also to give us the wisdom to try to help get some of these laws or some of these things changed where the missing persons, Lord, help us, give us the directions to petition, Lord, and to get some of these things changed, Lord, the way they approach missing person cases. We ask you, Heavenly Father, for all your many blessings. We thank you, God, for everything. In Jesus' name, we pray, amen. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining in with me with the prayer, for the fasting and prayer for Daniel. I really appreciate that. And also, like I said, I just want to keep on going and iterate that. Sometimes, when people get together, I was always trying to think of the Tower of Babel, and the people was together and they had one common mind, one kind of common thought, and they believed that it was going to build that tower to heaven. And actually, where it says it was nothing impossible to them because they actually believed that. They really believed it in their heart. Faith is the same thing. Faith without works is dead. So if you guys, you have the faith and you believe things, but you got to put some actions behind it. And one of the things I noticed for myself is that I always been taught that when I was a little child. My mother taught me that about faith, and you just got to put actions. I will tell you this real quick story that I tell a lot of people about my mother when she taught me about faith. When we come from, I come from a poor family. My mother at one time, she's a single mother. We didn't have any food in the house. I mean, we literally didn't have any food. And my sister and I was out playing with our friends. And but while we were playing, we're not thinking about eating. And my mother called me in. She called me and my sister in to eat. We was very excited. Was hungry. Was very excited to eat. Come in the house, didn't smell anything. But my mother, she put a nice tablecloth down, put all the plates and stuff on the table, had the silverware sitting really nicely. And so we sit in the kitchen ready to eat. And she come out, you don't smell anything, but she come out with a big pot. In the pot, you can see the steam coming off the pot. And I say, that's she must have got some food. For some reason, I can't smell those. But when she had the plates in front of me and my sister, she had this big spoon in the pot. And she took the spoon and she pulled out of that pot and put whatever was in the pot on our plate, and it was water. It was water. And so when she was doing that, my sister and I look at each other, think my mom probably lost her mind. We thought something was going on. Like, what's going on? There's no food, And then when she finished, she said, I need y'all to eat. And we looked at each other like, eat what? She said, just take the spoon and pretend like it's food and eat, right? So as we're doing so, and this is honest truth, as we're doing so, someone came knock on the door. There was a lady that my mother didn't know, said she's been in the neighborhood. She saw that my mother had children, and God put on her heart to bring us groceries. I mean, we had a lot of groceries, probably like 5 or 6 bags of groceries. Back then, they didn't have the plastic bags; they had the paper bags. But it was a lot of groceries, as well as my mom had got a lot of back pay on some money that she had. She was owed, and so to make a long story short, we had more food than we ever could actually use. So had food everywhere, and that's only because my mom showed me that faith. So you put some action behind the faith. You believe something. She had us to mimic that faith that we're eating, and we end up eating. So I always keep that in heart, in my mind, since I was a child. So I do believe in faith. I believe in those type deals whenever, I ask God for anything. I put some actions behind it. I cannot ask God to help me find my son if I'm not out here looking for my son. I had to be out in that desert. I had to be out there putting these flyer distribution. I had to be on these interviews. I had to be doing this Q&A. I had to do all the stuff just to, if I ask God for something, to put some action behind it. Because, some people would actually believe that you sit back and wait. Sometimes religion will teach you that, and that's a false thought. You guys cannot just sit back and just wait. You got to put some actions behind your faith. So you guys, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you have any comments, or if you have any questions, I will be going down the comment section here. As you know, every week, I tell you every time we have the Q&A, if you guys can put the word question there also, or some question marks or something like that, when I come down the comment section, I can see your question. I would love to answer your question. So if you can do that as well. But I do want to tell you all, thank you so much for joining this Q&A. Thank you for being a part of this Q&A. And, I'm really, really, really blessed by having you all here. I want to say, Tracy, thank you so much for being here this morning on the Q&A. Thank you, Aaron, for being here this morning. Thank you, Lola, for being here this morning as well. I really appreciate you coming out. Thank you, Jocelyn, for being here as well. Love and light to you as well. Thank you, Barry, for being here. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're part of the team. I'm really grateful for you moderating and everything. So thanks so much for being here this morning. You also, Sophia, for being here, taking time off your own business and your company to come out and help. And also, like I said, being part of the team, moderating as well. Thank you, Gina, for being here this morning. Thank you for all your work that you have done, from the desert searches to the flyer distribution. I really thank for all that hard work that you're doing as well to help me in my efforts to find Daniel. So thank you, T and Wildflower, for being here, for your support every time I have a Q&A. And I really thank you so much for showing your love, as well as Shauna, our team member, board member, for being here. Thank you for moderating and stuff. And I really appreciate it, you being here this morning as well. All right. So you guys have any questions, thank you, Heather Kelly, for being here all as well. And if you guys can, thank you for your love and support. If you guys can put that question in there, I will be coming. I wish I could say good morning to everybody coming down the comment section, but right now I'm looking for these questions. As Shauna had put here, if you guys can, whatever's on your mind for following Daniel's story, ask the questions here and get the truth. Start with your questions with a Q and a question mark. And because Shauna said that, I do want to say one thing to everybody. I really probably shouldn't really entertain a lot of things, but what I'm tell you guys is that sometimes people can get very passionate, and when people volunteer and they help. And I really, like I told you guys, everybody who volunteered to help me in my efforts, especially out in the desert, everybody, they're family to me. You guys are family to me. And I really appreciate your hard work and everything you do, because like I said, I can't do anything without you guys. I mean, I'm going to push. I'm a father. I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm going to try to go after what I can. But I just know, even the military, I'm a veteran. I know that not one soldier can do a job alone. You need a team. So you guys definitely come out and help. It's like family, my team, and I'm really grateful for you guys to help. But sometimes after a while, I think people would think that, because I'm moving on to different areas where I'm trying to do, like I told you guys, I always sit and think all the time of better ways I can find my son, better things I can do. And sometimes it's a moving thing. When I came out here to Arizona, I did not know what to do. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what to do first. So I just grabbed my daughter. She and I was going around just doing all kinds of things. Like I said, checking the airports, to working with the Buckeye Police Department, to whatever we need to do to try to find my son. And that's what we're doing. In the meantime, I was reaching out to as many people as I can, put it out there on social media, try to get to know some of the local people here, especially people that live in Buckeye area, to try to get my searches going. So it took some hard work to try to even start from nothing and to do something grassroots to get a search going. And so, like I said, after a while, sometimes people, just like I said, we were family, and then we now have to do something different. People may feel like I left them behind somehow, or I don't care anymore. But that's far from truth. The truth is, I do love everybody. I try to, show that, and I tell people that as much as I can. But my whole goal here in Arizona is to find Daniel. That's my first priority as a father. That's what I have to do. So sometimes what end up happening, like I said, you learn as you go, and I'm learning. One thing I want to put out what Shauna had here, if you want to know the truth about some things, there's a lot of stuff out there that you guys can hear from people and things that is not necessarily true. Some people put their own truths to it. I call it alternative truths. But you can get a lot of stuff from straight direct from the source. That's me. I'm not perfect. I do have flaws. Everybody have flaws, but I just know what happens in my son's life. I know what's happening in my son's case. I know what I'm doing as a father to search for my son. So I do research. I don't just say things without doing the research. I at least try. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, but I try. And so what I'm saying is I do hear some things that go out there that would try to contradict a lot of things that I say. But I really try not to pay mind to that. I just keep trying to keep pushing on and doing what I'm doing, because the most important thing I need to stay focused on is my son. I need to stay focused on here. Like I said, again, I'm just here to find Daniel. I'm not on a vacation. I'm not just here just to be here. Arizona, I am an ocean person. I love to be on the beach. But I'm here. I'm here in one of the driest states in this country. So I'm here, and but it's for my son. It's not on my behalf. It's on my son's behalf. So everything I do is towards that. So there's a lot more I would like to say about that, but that will be coming on later. But today is more focused on this fast and prayer for Daniel. And, I tell you guys, I really need your support on that. And also my efforts is to put the information that I can about Daniel out there, as well as getting the support that I need to continue on doing what I'm doing. So I really thank you guys for the support here that Sophia put up here. We had 118,549 voices that you guys have when you sign the petition. You put your voice there. If you guys have multiple email addresses and you sign the petition multiple times, you're just amplifying your voice. And so I'm really grateful for you guys who have signed that petition and continue to do so. You know what I'm saying? And also encouraging others to do so as well. So you guys can please sign that petition and keep it going. I have some efforts that I'm really trying, not just things outside of Daniel, because this thing is bigger than just me and my family. We're not the only person who have a missing person in our family. There's many thousands of families out there who have missing loved ones, and this thing is bigger than us. But I'm just a person who's trying to be a mouthpiece for some. So I really also want to say, if you guys want to help, Sophia have that there. Thank you, Sophia, for putting that up as well. That's a volunteer and other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You guys can go there and put your information there, your skill sets there. And I keep saying those who have done that months ago, yes, we still have that information. We're still finding ways to utilize the information as well to help. If you guys still interested, we definitely will be reaching out to you when those time come. We still have a foundation that's in the infancy stage. That's a totally different thing. It's separate from myself. And when I'm saying my efforts to find Daniel, but it's the foundation is there to help other families. So you guys can look forward to that as well. But I have to start preparing for that as well. Just like I had the ambassador program that I'm starting to help with the infrastructure that will be in place for the Daniel Robinson Foundation. So there's a lot of things going on with there. You guys can please, like I said, please go on there, help. So if you live in another city, another state, and you can't come out to Arizona, you can volunteer in other ways. And that's what that tab is for. So you can fill out the information there. I'll really be grateful, really very grateful if you guys can. Also, thank you, Larnell, for being here, one of the board members as well as team member. Thank you for being here as well in the Q&A and the chat section, being one of the moderators. I really appreciate you, sir, for everything you do. God bless you. And definitely thank you. Thank you, Lois Strickland. Thanks so much. And I know you're in North Carolina, I believe. Thank you again, because you've been coming out a lot to the Q&As, and I really appreciate your constant support in my efforts to find Daniel. So, and thank you for putting out that the flyers that you say you want to put out and things like that as well. So thanks so much for all that you do. And I do agree with you when you say that faith without works is dead, and that is true. And I say it over and over again. You got to put some actions behind your faith. You know what I'm saying? You can believe anything you want to unless you actually show some works towards it. Those things work towards it, and those things that you want to happen. So also thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. God is so amazing. Thanks so much for being here in this Q&A as well. Thank you, D, for being here this morning on this Q&A as well. If you guys have any questions, please, by all means, put those questions there. Put the word question there first, followed by your question. Also, or you can use a capital letter Q or some question marks or something as I come down the comment section. I can see it. And also, I want to say really quickly, if you can, please, you guys hit that like, share, subscribe button, to help the algorithms keep this channel going. My goal is to get Daniel's story as far as I can, and also build this channel up to, in the future, also help other families as well. And also, if you guys have missing loved ones and want to come on the Q&A and talk about your family member and talk about the story, hit me up on pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com and put your request there. And that way we can, I can have you here on the Q&A as well, so you can tell your loved one's story. So I want to be able to share this channel with you and your loved one. So please keep that in mind as well. Thank you, Gina, for your first question on the Q&A this morning. The question is, have you been able to gain any traction with the Tempe PD, City Council leadership? I'm working on that, and I'm working on that, Gina. I'm working on that in the background. I'm working on a lot of things in the background. I just came from the Attorney General's office yesterday, doing some things as well. but I'm working with all those departments. So the good part is those departments are listening. Those departments are actually hearing what I have to say, and so I'm definitely trying to do everything I can on my end to see how they can help. These other departments can help as well. I will be going to the Justice Department as well to try to get some things done. So you guys, I'm doing a lot of stuff in the background. A lot of things I just don't say on the Q&A, but there's a lot of things that goes on in the background as well. Just have to keep on what I do here is talk about what I do have to give to the public. So, thank you so much, Gina, for that question. And I really am pushing towards that to get these other departments and agencies to help out. And what I'm trying to do is find Daniel and get these answers. So thanks so much. Also, thank you, Michelle, for being here this morning. I really appreciate. You have several. Good. You have several email addresses. You definitely can put your voice there on that petition. Like I said, every time you use that, those different emails, I look at it as you just amplifying your voice. Also, you can, like I said, try to get everybody else to do the same. So definitely, that helps a whole lot. I want to go to these banners real quick and talk about some of these things as I do every time on the Q&A. Day of Remembrance, we are still rescheduling that. That date will be coming soon. I have a board meeting, member meeting this weekend. We'll be discussing those times and we actually release that date for the Day of Remembrance. The Day of Remembrance is for families, who, for my family as well, who have missing loved ones, and you want to highlight your family's story. You come out there, bring your tables, bring your flyers. We reserve a spot for you to be able to share. We have those resources there again. We have those resources for those families who come out, as well as you guys who don't have a missing person in your family and you just want to come out to support. We definitely need the support. People need support. I need the support. When people come out and show your love, that means a lot to a lot of families. So if you guys can do that as well, just always remember that families need support. We need support. And we need as much support we can. We see people showing their love like that. It make you feel good. Like I told you guys, one of the things that helps me as well is when you guys say, hey, Mr. Robinson, you're doing a good job. Mr. Robinson, hang in there. I love you. Whatever the case you want to say, those things help. They help you morally, help you mentally, because it's stressful. It's stressful when you're out there looking for your loved one. And when you hear nice things like that, it really encourages you to keep going. I do have a belief in myself as well that I learned as a young boy. One of the bishops at church, he's always say, sometimes you have to encourage yourself, and you do have to encourage yourself sometimes when there's no one else to encourage you. So to keep you going, and I do it often. But you know what? When I look on, when I'm able to look at some of the emails and the text messages and things like that, you guys put comments, and I see those nice comments. That helped as well. So that helped me keep going. A lot of times that keep you moving. So definitely. But I do have the Day of Remembrance. Will be coming again on the new date. As you know, the last time we had to reschedule it because of the Supreme Court decision about Roe v. Wade, and that did cause a lot of protests and things like that. And so it just so happened to be on a day of remembrance. And so we definitely had to bring it another day. We didn't have those things associated with a day of remembrance. There's a lot of things going on at the time, when people get uptight and upset about certain rulings and things like that. So, all right. Also, we have, please like and share to this channel, share, subscribe to this channel. You guys, I was up to 1,000 some followers on those subscribers on this YouTube channel. That helped me open up a lot of other things that YouTube offer for the channel, as well as for me, it's more so of getting Daniel's story out there. I'm not the news media, but I had to create my own. I don't have a YouTube podcast, but I had to do my own. So some things I'm saying is Daniel's story again went national. It went national. I had to work really hard for 3 months to get Daniel's story through the local news outlets, as well as working hard on social media, where it finally got some traction because someone saw Daniel's story, saw me putting those things out there, and they took it and a tweet went viral. And as well as my efforts to reach Joy Reid at the time, and some of the other celebrities and people who had those big names and hit their friends to get their attention somehow. And then also, you guys know about the Petito situation, sad situation, that also gave Daniel's story some traction. So all that in combination did cause Daniel's story to go national. But like I said, did a lot of interviews to keep Daniel's story out there, try to get all the answers, try to get Daniel's story out there as far as I can to reach that person that may know something. But I'm saying once after a while, the news channels and the news stations, it goes dormant, right? So when it goes dormant, they have to come up with a new story. No much as how much of journalists. I met some very amazing journalists, who really are passionate. These people you see them on TV, they do interviews and things, and you see them as they're just doing a job. A lot of people behind the scene, they actually do more than just their job. They actually check up on you. I have some that actually call me and text me to this date. They'll call, hey, I'm just checking on you, see how you're doing, whenever they have time. But they have a job as well. So they have a job that work for a network, and that network say, hey, we need to move on to a new story. Then they have to move on to another story. But a person, like I'm saying, they may be passionate, and that's why they'll call back and chat. So I really appreciate them as well. I would say a name because a lot of them, like Sarah Seidner and from CNN, as well as Kumo, he's not there anymore, but even himself. So people like that would actually, from Dateline, Robert Dean, people like that as well will be out there to encourage you. So really grateful for those people that do that. But like I said, for Daniel's story, when it got off the news channels and things like that, I had to come up, be creative. Like I said, I'm always thinking how I can do this a lot better, what I can do next. And my thing was to keep Daniel's story out there, keep Daniel's name going. And that's why I created this channel here with the help of Grizzly K from Grizzly True Crime. Taught me everything I need to know, and still teaching me currently different things I need to know about YouTube channels and things like that. I didn't know about YouTube channels outside of what I use YouTube for is how to do something, and also to share family videos with family and friends. So that's what YouTube was for me. And then I realized that it's also some people actually make a living off of it, so it's also a way to get stories out and things like that. More people watching YouTube than you think. So it helped me out. It helped me out to be able to get Daniel's story out there. So I'm definitely grateful for the YouTube, having the thought to keep Daniel's story going, because I'm responsible for that. I can't let Daniel's story just die. I can't let his name just go away, because I'm still trying to reach that person, really reach that heart, pull on the heart strings. Everything I had to do to get this person to say, hey, look, I'm going to have to open up and say what happened to Daniel, what I know of what happened to Daniel, or if they don't know at all, that you guys can keep this channel going and get it growing where it can reach somebody. And as well, like I said, this channel is growing. So in the future, because I always look for the future as well, I became passionate about helping other families and also to help other families in the future. So definitely need that. Also, you guys know about the tip line as well for those person that actually watching this Q&A and know what happened to my son again, who have an idea or definitely know, saying, I don't need hey, you need to go check this way. I really have a feeling that I need this. This is a tip line that is definitely dedicated to those person who knows what happened to Daniel, who have been a part of it or anything like that, and want to come clean, want to say something. That's why it's called a tip line. You also could be anonymous if you like. I pay for the service for this person and persons to be able to call. That's a 24-hour, 7 days a week, live operators that take the call, as well as the tip line I have here. You can remain anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to them at all, you just text the word tip to that number, the same number. You can still just text the word tip to it. The form will come out there, and you can actually stay anonymous if you like. I always encourage people also, if they want to be extra careful because they worried about something, snitching, I guess you want to call it, use a burner phone. Hey, burner phones are very cheap. Go to Walgreens or whatever you need to go to get one of them burner phones, and still text the word tip to that number. And let me know, let my family know. Even if you have to call the police department, let us know what happened to my son, what you do know, and definitely, bring some closure to what's going on with me and my family. I just need somebody to say something, to really say something. And that's what the YouTube channel is for, is to be able to reach that person and keep Daniel's name out there so it can reach you and you can say something. So, all right. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys want to contact me directly, that's the number there, as well as please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. you definitely can reach me there utilizing that information. So again, I'm going back to the comment section. If you guys have any questions, please put the word question there again, followed by your question, or put some question marks or something like that where I can actually easily find it. I do see 3 here. And D Lucky, thank you so much for being here this morning from the YouTube side of things. I really appreciate that. Question is there any person of interest? Yes, there are. The guy who last seen him as well. Yes. So, you know, like I told you guys, I'm doing my own investigation. I definitely don't rule anybody out. Anybody who had involvement with my son, I don't rule anybody out. But I do have answers to some things. One of the biggest part is this forensics work. And I'm glad I want to touch on the forensics work part. There's some talk out there and also in the comment sections of YouTube, I think Twitter and some of the other social media places that I do a lot of posting, and my team do postings on Facebook and things like that. A lot of times, I'll be honest with you, I don't get to see a lot of the comments as much as I want to. I try to scroll down as fast as I can to read some of the comments, and I don't get the reply, but I can actually see those comments. But one thing that was brought to my attention is that people was coming and saying, hey, are you going to take up on somebody's offer on to doing free forensics work? Nobody have ever, and I just want to make that clear to everybody, no one has ever came to me from anywhere, Nancy Grace to anywhere, to offer free forensics to help me with the forensics work. Because you guys, you know that I have been asking you guys to help me reach that goal so I can be able to do this forensics work, so I can be able to remain here in Arizona, so I can be able to eventually go back out in the desert with a team. I go out there, but with the team, have the organized thing going. So all that stuff matters to me in my efforts to find Daniel. But like I said, there was no one to this date that came to me from the Nancy Grace or anybody alike that said, hey, I want to give you some free forensic stuff, you know. And I think that a lot of people got that from, I did do an interview with Nancy Grace, and there was some talk that in that discussion, that finished product, someone on there was discussing, saying something like something that sounded like similar to maybe doing something like that free for me. But what I can tell you how interviews go. For those who don't know, anytime you do news interviews, anytime you do interviews with anybody, you do long interviews. And what I'm saying is they ask you those questions, you talking, they're recording you, and then what they do is, even the news media, what they do is they take out, I mean, you can talk for 30 minutes and they might take out 2 sentences, what you said out of whole 30 minutes, right? They take out what they want to take out, and they use that in their finished product. So like I tell you guys, when for instance, Nancy Grace show, I was on, they did ask a lot of questions. We did talk, and we had the conversation. However, like I said, when y'all listen to the finished product, I listened to the finished product at the same time you do. I wasn't on the whole panel, so don't think that when you listen to it, I was there the whole time listening to everybody talking, had these discussions. No, we don't. That's not how the interviews work. They just pretty much get my part. But thank you, Mr. Robinson. This will be coming out on such day, or whatever the case may be. We're seeing a link, and that's the end of the story. So when the finished product come out, then I get to see the rest, and I get to hear all the other comments and things like that people say if I'm listening to that, if I get that link or I have time to listen to the finished product. But like I said, not one person from that panel, Nancy Grace or anybody, said, hey, Mr. Robinson, we'd like to offer you some free forensic work. So I want to make sure everybody's clear on that. Don't think that somehow I'm asking you guys. I think I had someone came to me and say, email me and say, well, you know, and another thing, I don't have any search coordinator anymore. I am my own search coordinator for my searches. But the person said that your search coordinator was out saying that I guess pretty much I'm not taking up an offer for someone who's want to give me a free forensics work. And again, like I said, nobody ever said they give me some free forensics work or anything like that. Or came to me with that. So I just want to make sure that y'all understand that's clearly on that. And as well, I don't have a search coordinator. So if anybody's out there that's saying they represent my family or represent me or speaking on my behalf, nobody speaks on my behalf. I'm gonna tell you guys, that's why I have a Q&A here. I'm a big boy. I speak for myself. I speak for my family. I am representing my family. So there's no one I have out there representing the Robinson family outside of myself. So definitely, and I do have a team as well that do work with me. and my team do help me get some things out, but nobody talks for me. Nobody's out there. So if you see any YouTube stuff or some website or maybe Facebook or whatever the case may be that's outside of what I'm doing, I have no parts of that. They may be bearing my son's name or bearing his picture, but they don't represent me and my family. So y'all can be aware of that as well. So this is the source that you come to. The source is me. I started this thing from scratch, out here looking for my son, and I always kept it that way. I do have people that help me. Don't get me wrong. I have people that help me as well, and I really appreciate them. I love them for their help. But, I want to make sure you guys, any kind of sources out there that saying they're speaking for on my behalf, don't believe that. Nobody's speaking. I speak for myself. So, all right. Thank you guys for that. I just wanted to put that out. But yeah, there's also persons of interest, D, Lucky, that, I'm looking into. Buckeye should be looking into as well. So some things I have put out to them as well, for them to do as well, some tips and persons. But I definitely have my mind. I just need those forensics work done to tie those things in, and then I can release all that kind of stuff to the public as well once the proper authorities step in. All right. Esther Levy, thanks so much for being here. Hello to you as well. I really appreciate it. Do you know what date the fake agent reported he saw Daniel? Well, that agent, yeah. I really dislike that this guy was I take it as like this, like a con artist or whatever, to be able to somehow trick my investigator to believing that he was a federal law enforcement officer, as well as at the time my old one of my search coordinators in the time, also, who brought the guy to me. But that was on. He was brought to me probably somewhere around in July, August last year, and this guy did, did say that he saw Daniel on the 23rd of June 23rd. Excuse me, the day he went missing. And as you guys know, that his story was that he saw Daniel roughly around 1 o'clock, and that he saw Daniel first when he was out target practicing with his children. He saw him through the scope of his rifle. I didn't like that part of it. Just hearing that, he saw him through the scope of his rifle, saw his vehicle through the scope of his rifle, and then he said, but later on, he didn't think nothing of it, but he said he was wondering why the vehicle was out there driving around. Then he said that later he ended up talking to Daniel himself. He saw him again near one of the riverbanks, and he talked to him again, and he actually approached him because he saw Daniel's vehicle sitting there on the riverbank. He is outside in his vehicle, but standing outside like he was cleaning the vehicle or something. And then when he approached him, my son, he said my son was standing at the door with the door open, and they had a discussion about where the proper place to target practice. He says out there target practice, and my son instructed him to go to a different area where they normally go shooting, and but he said my son was mild mannered, really nice to him and his kids. He said he didn't realize my son had only one hand until he came away from the door. Pretty much that was it. But he said it was around 1 o'clock. But I can tell you, after he found out, my investigator, after he got the information back from a lab in California, he said that the report he got, he said that the first initial crash happened around 1 o'clock on the 23rd. When that guy heard that, of course, he changed his story, said, oh, he's seen Daniel around 10 o'clock that morning. So that was the first indication that something was wrong with this guy. The other part is, like I said, I found some things out about him that was really bad, as well as the fact that later he's not a law enforcement officer at all. And also the third thing that's really striking is one of the ladies here on the Q&A asked the question. She Rose Nation is her name. She probably here this morning. How can Daniel give a person directions to anywhere if that was his first time ever out there, which it was? Daniel has never been out there in that part of the Sonoran Desert, never been out there off of Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road. So he wouldn't know where to instruct somebody to go target practicing. So that's common sense. And that's one thing the Buckeye Police Department haven't picked up, just like they haven't picked up the red transfer plate on the vehicle. And so I asked them about this guy. This is a police department now. asked him about this guy. Even after finding out he's not a law enforcement officer, after finding out his some stuff about him, they say they corroborate his story. You know, they told me that in January, the detective. So they corroborate the story, but I don't corroborate the story because it don't make sense. They didn't ask that question to themselves. How can my son know where to direct this guy when he never been out there himself? You know, that's the simple thing to make you say, hey, look, this guy is something fishy about him. Also, as well, him changing his story from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and they corroborated that. So it's that kind of sloppy work from a police department that I think should be smarter than that. And so that's the kind of reasons why. Also, again, you guys know I'm advocating to get my son's case removed. My son is still missing because of the incompetency or whatever, everything that's going on in that department, as well as the fact at the beginning he was assumed to want to go disappear on his own. And no matter what the family said, I was saying as a father, they want to stick with some narrative. And I'm gonna tell you the funny part about it. I know I'm jumping off another side of things, but one of the biggest things that really irritates me with that police department is that they put in a report that coworkers say, coworkers mean plural, say Daniel was acting odd, right? And when I do my own investigation and really ask questions and stuff like that to the workers in this company, I have many board meetings up there, that company up there my son worked for. And one of the things I asked them, my son title, his job title says it itself, by the way. He's a field geologist. Field geologist means he works in the field. I mean, he's out there in the desert. He works out there, right? Field geologist. And that means he don't really come into the office. And he don't. They told me themselves, geologists rarely come into the office. Only time they come there to the office is when they dropping off samples. They have a door, they come in, drop it on the table, and a lot of times they're just gone, right? And so there's no person out there at that job, workers that say he's been acting odd and strange, except for one that can actually say that. And he's a coworker, not just a coworker, he's a friend of Daniel's, and they hang out a lot. So that's the only person I cannot dispute about saying, oh, I feel this Daniel's acting like this or something, right? But I can dispute the other thing, because who are these other coworkers? They use that one person's name, which is Daniel's friend, but they can't use these other coworkers who said that. They just threw something in there and say, oh yeah, these coworkers. Who are these coworkers? Without these names, or who's these people that said that, you know? So it's just nobody who says that. So one of the things is he's a field geologist. Common sense things like that. It's common sense things that if a person changed their story, like the guy at the well changed his story to me, and I alerted them on that. When a person changed their stories, that's who you need to start looking at certain things about this person. Really buckle down on this person and find out what going on, why they changed their story, and things like that. This guy changed the story from 1 o'clock to 10. He said he saw my son through a rifle scope. You know, my son directed him to a place where he never been before. You know, that type deal. So, you know, it's common sense stuff, and I have not ever read anything in the report that suggests they even looked into those things. And I'm sure they are now, because a lot of times they told me they watch Q&A. So I always keep saying, welcome Buckeye for watching the Q&A, as well as some of these other departments. They tell me they watch this Q&A, watch what I say. And if you guys can really pay attention, if you go back on my Q&As, you start listening to those things, and then you kind of compare it to what's happening in this police report, how it changed. Those things kind of change a little bit, conform to all the things that I say, what they haven't done and things like that. And they kind of change it where it make it appear they have done, you know, that type stuff. So it changes as the police report changes as time goes. And I smile because I always held to myself, and I know to date, matter of fact, well, in a couple of days, matter of fact, it would be about 2 or 3 more days a year ago is when they first gave me the partial report. They gave me a partial report, and Chief Hall at the time told me they would give me a full report once because they done my son's case. They had no more leads to follow that they put on the news, that they actually delete their post after I made scrutiny about it. They have to delete it, that Facebook post. But you know, nothing's really deleted. I have copies also from the reporters, local reporters, but also they deleted that, as well as telling me, like I said, there's no more leads to follow. They said that on the news, no more leads to follow. And they also told my investigator they're not investigating my son's case. That's why my investigator was able to get the black box data. He didn't pull that black box data himself. He got it from the Buckeye Police Department, who told him direct they're not investigating my son's disappearance. So they gave that stuff over. But I'm saying today is those close to those dates where all the stuff was going down in the back. So there's a lot of things, guys, when it comes to my son's case that just don't make sense the way they was handling some things. So, all right. And okay, I do have now, Scott. Thank you so much for your question. I just happened to see it because I was going to the next one. If you guys can, please put the word question in there first for your questions, a question mark or a bit letter Q, something I can find it. But I happen to see yours, Scott. Thank you for coming out to the YouTube channel as well. What COP and FBI is doing? Well, the Buckeye Police Department, in my opinion, not doing much at all. They haven't done. They ain't showed me anything they really have done and towards helping find myself outside of doing their thing in the report just to make themselves look good. So they're more busy on their own agenda than it is to find my son. And some of those proofs is that I have been searching for my son over 40 some weeks of searches, desert searches out there, as well as covering all these acres of land. And not one time has Buckeye came out there to help me do a search. Only time they came out there is twice on a request that I sent to letters I had to send through my attorney to send to Chief Hall to request them come out to assist me. When I say assist me, I needed them to come out with resources to search these wells, some mines, and I needed some things like certain specialized drones. I needed a helicopter. I had to charter my own helicopter to go search for my son, and use their helicopter. They claimed they had this Phoenix Firebird and all that kind of stuff. Help me in those ways. Bring your cadaver dolls, things like that. I put a list of things, and they came empty-handed the first time, but nothing. The second time, they came partially empty-handed and promised me they had to come in a weekday. We were out there in a weekday for them to do a half job that I told you guys about. So they haven't done anything outside of, like I said, to just make themselves look good. And they're more concerned on that than they are to actually finding my son. So that's the Buckeye Police Department. FBI, I'm not sure about them. I would say a lot of comment. I'm really still trying to push towards that because my son's vehicle is on federal. And that's another thing. Like I told you guys, there's things out there, persons who will try to contradict my findings out there on that desert out there. I literally get on the ground. I use proper GPS. And also I have a mapping from BLM of their property, where their property line is. And there's some people out there that try to contradict me on where my son's vehicle is located, and it is on federal land. And so, I definitely would like to, the FBI to come in on that, Bureau of Land Management as well, BLM land. So definitely, FBI, I'm not sure what they do about it. I just know they're not in my son's case. Scott, I did petition the Buckeye Police Department because I was told by the FBI they had to be invited in somehow. So I did ask Chief Hall at the time. I wrote a long striking letter with my attorney looking over it, for legal stuff, and as well as being able to use some of the CNN reporting as well, Chief Hall's own wordings, and to discuss my son, his vehicle right here, this right here behind me, was found out there in the crime scene. The whole area is a crime scene. My searches have brought and produced human remains, bringing other people's closer to other people's family. Not too far from the scene right here, it was a human skull found. The same spot where the Buckeye Police Department claimed they had all these cadaver dogs and search dogs. Those dogs must have had a cold that cold that day. Their nose was stopped up because they didn't find the human skull that was close there that we found as civilians. So definitely, like I said, I definitely want this whole thing redone. But anyway, as what I'm doing on my search, like I said, we produce a lot. So I want to kind of cut off on that. But thank you so much, Scott, for your question on that as well. Thank you, Latoria. Thank you, Latoria, for being here. I smile whenever you come on. I love you and I love your father. I love your entire family. Thank you so much. Every time I told your dad, whenever you come on, it really put a smile on my face. Really glad to see you here this morning. Thank you for your question as well. Just like you're trying to help other families and build a platform to help all, did you happen to get a chance to speak to the Petito family and gain tips on getting the FBI to pick up the case or any tips? Well, I have in the future, in the past, Latoria, when it first kind of happened. I did reach out, well, my attorney did reach out to the Petito family, and they did reach back. The father, he did reach back out. He shared Daniel's story on his channel. I think I don't know if it's YouTube channel, but it was one of his platforms, Twitter as well. So they did help in that efforts to help put Daniel's story out there. So I really appreciate that family for doing that. As in talking to them directly, myself one-on-one with him. I would have had liked that. During the time I also reached out to John Wash. I did have some inside contact to get to John Wash through some sources. And I was waiting on those contacts to get back in touch with me so I can get in touch with those people to be able to ask for, like you said, I need John Watt especially wanted to pick their brains on things like that, on how to better search for my son. So definitely was reaching out. But yeah, the Petito family, I heard they have some type of foundation and things like that as well. So I'm really happy about that, to hear that they're helping other families as well. So definitely, I see cases. You guys, the guys can know. You kind of, and I try to keep my how I want to keep things in a certain way without saying things, but things speak for itself. Sometimes you look at these cases, and I know people come to me all the time. Hey, Mr. Robinson, look at this case. Something that just happened with someone. I think the guy was in Colorado, some other state, Utah, somewhere. A young guy. I think he was only 16 years old, and I don't know if he's still missing or not, but he's some kind of farmer or something out in the desert out there, and he kind of disappeared in some of the similar fashion as Daniel. But I heard lately the FBI is into that case, right? And people say, like yourself, what happened with Daniel's case? And I say the same question. You know, it's a difference. Sometimes when you guys look at how things are, no matter how national Daniel's story went, no matter how much I've been out there for weeks searching, no matter how hard, and the evidence is there, myself, my investigator, produce evidence that suggests foul play. Law enforcement in every aspect refusing to help find my son. They're refusing to, the FBI refusing to come into the case. Go back to the other thing I was saying earlier. I think I didn't finish that, is that I did put in a request with Chief Hall with that letter from my attorney, looking over, requesting the FBI to come in to my son's case. And as you guys know, Chief Hall, because of that letter, had no choice but to ask the FBI to do what they call as a case review. He said, "Oh, I already did it or something. I'm ready to put in for a case review or something or other." Okay, so my attorney, as soon as he said that, my attorney put in a request that if she wanted to be there as well, but if they just want me to be there, in a letter she wrote, just me, I just need to be there as a family to be a part of this case review with the FBI. Of course, they did not respond. Chief Hall didn't respond back to that request, and they actually had this so-called case review behind my back, behind my family back. Didn't alert us to tell us they was doing it, the date they was actually doing it. Check back with them to say, "Oh, we already had the case review." They already did it behind my back. They called me and said, the detective told me that the FBI said they're not coming to my son's case because you, Mr. Robinson, you're doing such a good job on your own. They don't need to come in. So that type deal, what I'm saying is that's the kind of way certain families and certain people get treated by law enforcement when you don't push them, versus some families who get things instantly without efforts. So, that type deal. So that's the kind of thing that's been going on in my son's case when it comes to things like that, trying to get effort. I'm really fighting. You guys, I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. I'm really fighting behind the scenes. Just because your guys see me on here doing Q&A, saying the same thing over and over again. You heard that I was in the desert, or you heard that I'm doing the flight. It's a lot more other things that's going on in the background. That's why I thank God for having a team. There's other things that we do in the background that we have to do as well to try to get effort. So like I'm saying, I'm fighting with law enforcement right now to try to see if I can get some things moving. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's crazy. But like you said, some family without effort can get, we saw what happened in that case, that family. I hate keep saying their name, and you put their name there, the Petito family, and it's not their fault. And I keep saying it over and over again. It's not the Petito family fault that they got so much attention, because every family should get that attention. What I'm saying is it's some things are so effortless, right? You had all these agencies. They spent. You guys, you can Google that. Just Google that and find out how much money they spent on Don't look at the Tito. Look at the guy, the murderer, and see how much money they spent on this murderer trying to find a murderer. It's millions of dollars, right? And here I am, asking you guys, and sometimes you guys look at that GoFundMe and say, "Oh yeah, that's a lot. It is a lot of money." But it's my efforts to find my son. It's an ongoing effort. It's not a stop thing, or I'm just sitting back, not doing it. Like I told you again, faith without works is dead. It's my works and stuff. I'm out there busting my tail, keeping the searches going at the time. Also providing for my then investigator his equipment and things like that. So all that stuff is very costly, and it's a constant thing that I was actually doing to this day and constantly doing. And I get how money is spent when you're going to search for your loved one. It is very expensive. Somebody even came to me one time and said, why do it cost money to search for someone? Because I'm very responsible. I'll think it wouldn't cost the police department any money if it was if they was out there searching. It do cost money to properly search. So no police department able to go out there and search for anybody without costing something. And so, like I'm saying, that's the same thing. They spent millions of dollars on this. What you see on the GoFundMe is some of the money they spend every day looking for a person. So what I'm saying is, some families go out there without effort. They get the stuff without efforts, without trying hard. I had to try for 3 months just to get some loot, so get Dan's story out there, local news, to finally get it on a national level. I had to work for that. It wasn't handed to me for my son. I had to actually work out there, not getting sleep day and night, working hard, trying to get Daniel's story out there. And so God bless that. That's what happened. But yeah, to answer your question, Latoria, no, I didn't get to speak to the family directly. But when I say not directly, I was able to reach out my attorney at time as well. And, they did do some things like share Daniel's story and stuff like that. So thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate it. And tell your dad I say hello and thank him for everything he does as well. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Please put the word question there. Follow word question there, followed by your question, or capital letter Q, like Latoria did here, as well as some question marks and things like that. That really help as coming down the comment section looking for your question. I would love to answer your questions. So you guys have them, please ask them. If I miss your questions this morning, I had to keep up the time because I do have appointments. If I do miss your question, please come back this evening at 5:30. That's 5:30 p.m. For Q&A prime time. That's 5:30 p.m. here, Arizona time, as well as California time, Pacific time, or you can, or that'll be 8:30 p.m. On the East Coast for those who follow on the East Coast. So if you guys can come back, and I will be answering your questions there as well as I'll be closing off the a day of remembrance. So if you guys can remember that as well, I'll be praying the final prayer for the day of remembrance, and we'll go from there. So definitely look for answers for the help other families and stuff like that. So thank you so much. All right, thank you, Stacey McCord, for putting that up. Thank you for your prayers and your support. Thank you, Esther. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate you as well. Let's see if I have this right here. I did see a question from Amber. Thank you for your question, Amber. The question is, if Daniel was new to that worksite area, how would he know the best place to shoot? What the best place to shoot? Was he even a gun owner? No, Daniel do not own any guns, guns and things like that. And you're right, and that's the same question that She Rose Nation asked that day. He would not be able to direct someone to a location he never been to, and he only been there, according to this worker, for 10 minutes. So being there for 10 minutes, he didn't have time to go around riding around to know anything about a desert. What he would do, riding around the desert and finding people out in the desert somehow, randomly finding someone to say, hey, where's the best place to shoot the weapon? He wasn't even being concerned about that. Or he's seen a bunch of people shooting his way. Oh, that's where they must have to shoot at or something. No, I doubt that. Danny didn't own a weapon. And also as well as that story is very phony and fishy. But that's something that Buckeye corroborate, that he's supposed to be, I guess, okay to them. But he's not okay to me. You know what I'm saying? So that is fishy for a person to be able to say that. Right? And you're right. there's no way that he would have been able to direct anybody to anything outside that desert, let alone he had to ask for directions to even get to the well site. So he probably, once he left there, he'll probably try to remember how to get back there if he left. So so it's a lot to that. So you guys, yeah, it's the common sense factor that's there. One of the biggest things, if you're an investigator, you have to at least have common sense. And all God gave everybody common sense. You just have to use it. And some of that stuff is not being utilized. All right. I do have a question here from Kimberly. Thanks so much, Kimberly, coming in. Did you get any information back from NamUs on ME case 2280? You know, and I really thank you, first of all, Kimberly, for giving me that information. But no, I did not get anything back from that yet. But thank you so much, because, you know, I need tips like that. You never know. You know, say you never know. One thing about NamUs, though, they do have my now. And you know, that's the funny part about all the stuff. When my son was missing, I'm telling you how important they think Daniel's. When I say they, I'm talking to Buckeye Police Department. Think of my son's case. Not one time they offered me and my family to go get in the DNA swab, right? I had to do what you're doing, talking about there, Kim. I had to do that myself. I had to initiate that self. And guess when I initiated? Last month, you know? So I finally got that in the database with me and I had his mother do that in South Carolina as well. I hope she did. Had them initiate that. The only part I disliked about it is that the samples that I had to do had to go to the Buckeye Police Department because they handled my son's case. So NamUs had to have it done, but had to send it to them. So I hope they do the right thing with it. But what I'm saying is, at the same time, but we had to go to them to go back to them to verify, like I said, for these cases that you're talking about in their database. They have my they do DNA for get those DNA information from those people, like I said, that's found without a name, and then they match that up, their DNA up, what they have on file. So my like I said, me and his mother stuff is on file now, and that way, this what you're looking at, they would alert us if they came up, you know, matching. So that's one thing. That's the only thing they would tell me on that behalf. You know, saying they had to go get it matched up with our stuff, and I'm sure they already put that in their database, and they would call us if that was something that came up as well. So thank you so much again for putting information up. But the point is, I'm saying is, guys, they have not one time asked us. I had to go initiate that myself. All right. So if you see that in the report, I'm sure they'll put in. Yeah, we asked the family to, you know, no, just like they didn't ask the I had to tell them to do fingerprint. You see fingerprint in the report. That was under my request, but they ain't gonna put it in the report. Well, the father had to request the fingerprinting on they say, oh, we did the fingerprint, like, you know, as if they did it because they was trying to do some good work or something. No, just make themselves look good. All right. Amber Overton, thanks so much for your question. To confirm, this fake officer said that Daniel was outside of his car cleaning it near an area where there was a river, right? How was there a river in the desert? Well, you know, there are rivers, we call them riverbeds. And they got the Hansappa River, as well as a thing called Wagner Washes. They have these washes. So, you know, this is like, for instance, this is monsoon season, coming into monsoon season every year here in Arizona. You know, desert do have a rainy season. And it's not like we'll see, like how in South Carolina, always raining. But they do have, when they do have rain, because the ground is so dry, a lot of times they have these things called, you know, have a lot of flash flooding. And so these rivers are there, but those rivers are often dry. Like, I mean, we literally all year round, outside of whenever it rains, you got to not be in those rivers because, like I said, it's like flash flood. The water comes through there really quick. So you have to be careful anytime it's raining, especially up in the mountains and the water coming down, and it comes down that river. And so those are rivers, but generally the rivers here, especially in that area where Daniel was missing, those rivers are dry. You know what I'm saying? They're literally dry, but they still call rivers. So that's the first time when I came out of Arizona. The first thing I had to learn about Arizona was they call these things rivers without water. You know, so during that time, I'm sure the water wasn't running, and if it was, it wasn't significant because there was no rain. Like I told you guys, I have people keep trying to contradict me and don't know anything. Sometimes these guys think they know everything. I'm a very smart, intelligent person, but I think they know everything, but don't use, like I said, one thing is just generally using common sense. For instance, like the rancher said right here in this vehicle, you guys look under that vehicle there, Amber, it's the same thing. That's what's called a wash, right? that runs through that ravine, that ravine there. That's a wash. And what happens is, anytime it rains, significant rain now, water flows through there, and it flows through there because under that vehicle it travel. You probably can't tell, but from the rooftop there, that's the north side, and the river goes downhill, right? And that's really downhill for the bottom of that vehicle. That's downhill, and the water will run through that area. So that vehicle just sitting there across like a bridge in a sense. And so when it rains really heavily, the water washes through there, and it carries a lot of debris, rather than branches from, because everything dry. Those little stick things right here, they breaks off, and it builds up. And what happens is, we see them out in the desert all the time, when the water flow, wherever the water flow, if they hit something, they kind of build like a dam in a sense, And so, like the rancher said, he's right. If the water's flowing through here and it was raining, he was telling me he was out there on those days when Dane's supposed to be missing. He was there with no significant rain all the way up to those dates. None, not at all. And if it rained, he told me it was probably, like he said, like literally 1 or 2 minute rain, and it's like a drizzle. And the thing is, he pointed out, he knows that desert. He's lived out there. He's actually a fourth generation rancher out there with his cattle. And one thing he told me, he said he know everything about the desert. If water was flowing, because I told him, somebody said it was raining. If water's flowing through there, which it would have if it's raining, significant rain, it would have built up like a dam, right? And on top of that, on that vehicle here, there would have been debris stuck right there. You wouldn't be able to see under that vehicle because everything would have been clogged up right there. That would show that water's actually flowing there since that vehicle was there. There was no rain there. And as guys know, I did pull up the weather report. There was no rain, 0%. I do have one person out there trying to contradict me as well, utilizing a video from somebody they claim they live in Buckeye, and on the 23rd or whatever the date, on the 19th, it was raining that day in their yard. And one thing I'm gonna say about that, they say zero rain, right? In this area here. One thing, I don't know how it is in Arizona, but I know in South Carolina, I literally sometimes see it rain on one side of the street and then rain on the other side of the street. Literally. On one side of the street, maybe rain, on the other side don't. But on that day, it wasn't rain at all. There's no validity to that video. There's no real source, unless a person had a clock or something, some real source to say this video was created on this date at this time. I don't know where the video came from. Did somebody have a video showing some rain? Oh man, it's raining, because in Arizona it might be a big event. Because I do see people when it rained hard. When I came here before, when I first came in Arizona, it was pouring down rain. And the first thing we're asking from South Carolina, like, we know that nobody have umbrellas. Do they even sell umbrellas in Arizona? Because it don't rain like that, And so whenever it rained really hard, I'm sure they're very excited. I took a video, and then at the same time, this video is being used to say, oh, it's raining on a day. I don't know. That video could have been made in September or something. I don't know. They don't have no time stamps and this and that and blah, blah, blah. As well as it don't match the weather report, who says that it didn't rain at all that day. So that's another thing that Buckeye Police Department need to look into. They give me uncommon sense stuff. I'm a very logical guy. In that photos that I have of my son's vehicle from the scene, the inside interior, they show me some. Oh, it's a hard head. The Buckeye Police told me, oh, it's a hard head filled with rainwater. Filled, and it is full. You could take as a weather person, and they could put something there on hard rain, and they measure how much rain falling in that little square, how much inches of rain is falling, because they collect the raindrops, right? And they can tell by multiplying it by, the area and this and that, blah, blah, and see how many gallons and stuff pouring down per minute or whatever for over time. But anyway, long story short, you put something out there and it's pouring down and it still wouldn't fill up a hard head of water. So, and not only that, there would be, that was like I told you, some type of business card there that if it was there for 30 days, for instance, that business card would turn to, I don't know if you guys put paper in water and it dissolves and turns to mush. It is not much, So it's almost like somebody put it there and took a picture and say, oh yeah, it was hard to say it was raining, right? So they say, oh, the vehicle's out here that long, that type deal. It's common sense. Then the hard hat sitting in the back seat where no rain excess can come to it, even fill it up in the first place. So all that don't make sense, right? So to me, you can look at that and tell, because they're not smart enough, and tell somebody to stage that as well, right? So yeah, definitely to answer your question, there's rivers out there, but the rivers, like I said, they don't flow. They don't flow. It just playing on um, dry beds a lot of times. And we actually use, that's why you guys hear me when I was out doing the searches, say, hey, we need these quads and razors, because those are the type of vehicles we need to actually ride down those rivers. And that's one of the things we have there. You know, some people say I was biased, or I'm supposed to be biased for my son. I know my son, but the thing is, I have common sense as well. And just because my son went missing out there, yeah, I had to check those river beds. And the river, like I say, water flows southward. I had to go down miles down that river have volunteers look on through the riverbed to find. We found human remains out there as well, to find make sure Daniel wasn't caught up in a flash flood and got swept downstream or something, you know, that type deal. So you had to look out, had to consider all that stuff, and that's what my searches is based on, all of that too as well. All right. All right, Shauna, thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate you. How many days after the car found did you take possession? The car was found on July the 19th. Thank you for your question. No, the car was found on July 19th, which would have been yesterday last year, right? It was found that morning, early morning, according to the rancher. And Buckeye Police came out there. They claimed they did this extensive search, right? Not one time. Now, they know I was out there for weeks. They know I was out there because I was asking them to come to help. No, I've been out there for weeks before that vehicle was found. Since June 26th, several days after that, when I first started my searches out there, I've been out there since, right? Searching for my son out there, even on the weekdays. And they knew I'm out there searching for my son, and they did not alert me. And like I told you guys, and that was on last year, on July the 19th, last year when that vehicle was found by that rancher. One of the things that stick out to me, that rancher told me, they said, don't alert the family and don't alert the media, right? They want to keep this a secret for that reason, right? And one of the things that detective said to me that next morning, late that next morning, I think it was a little after 9 o'clock that morning, he said, told me about my son's vehicle being found the day before on July 19th. Here it is today, July the 20th last year. He like I said, he called me that morning, roughly almost around the time it is now here. It's 8 o'clock now, but another hour or so, 2 hours from now, he would have called me and tell me that my son's vehicle was found the day before by a rancher. Of course, I'm devastated, thinking he's gonna say something bad about my son. He told me they didn't find Daniel. And then I'm asking the question like, well, why you guys didn't come get me so I can go out there and look for my son? You see me out there in the desert. Why y'all didn't come get me and tell me this vehicle was found? It was found that morning, the day before, yesterday morning. And he said, we didn't want to disturb your sleep. So I was sleeping all day. You think I'm sleeping all day? You didn't want to disturb my sleep in the daytime. You know, that was ludicrous. No, to me, it felt like what you were doing out there and that you didn't want me to see, or what you found out there you didn't want me to see, or whatever the case may be. And I'm out here on this ground, you know, saying, look for my son. So that was suspicious to me as well. So yeah, they did end up days at the vehicle, like I said. Then the same thing I was saying on today, July the 20th last year, he showed me the vehicle. Like I told you, I was devastated for what I saw. He somehow was trying to get me to touch this vehicle. I would not touch it, not because I wasn't smart. It's because I couldn't touch it because this is supposed to be the last place my son was seen, right? And the vehicle looked horrible, you guys, from my point of view when I saw it. And the airbag sitting out the driver's window. But the first thing he said to me when I say, I need to get out of here, sir, let me out of here. Well, Miss Robinson, you don't get this vehicle out here today, we're going to have a total away and you're going to have to pay storage fees. That's his response to me being emotional about my son, seeing my son's vehicle for the first time in the state it was. And they turned the vehicle to me. I said, well, hey, look. And then I asked him, hey, I can't do it today. I'm not from Arizona. I need to contact his lien holder, the person that owned the car that my son making his payments to see what they want to do to it. Can you give me a couple of days? He agreed to give me 3 days, like I said, but the vehicle was definitely turned over to me, but it was sitting there. And I had even called the next day because I heard it's supposed to be some kind of rain maybe happen. And then I knew the sunroof was open. And I said, hey, look, I need to come up there to put a tarp on it to make sure no rain don't get into the vehicle. He said, oh, I would do it ourselves. We'll go ahead and put a tarp on it. So they went and put a tarp on it, supposedly. And so, yeah, the vehicle turned over to me. but I didn't get it pulled out of that place until after, after that meeting when I demanded them to do fingerprinting on that vehicle. So when I demanded them to do fingerprinting, they said they was gonna hold it for another day, and they did the fingerprinting. That's when I was getting my investigator to come up there to retrieve the vehicle. They tried to give him a hard time. All of a sudden, because my investigators told him what he was going to do with the data and stuff that they gave him. One of the things was take the dashboard apart, the infotainment system. When they heard that, some reason they started freaking out because that would tell when the accident happened and certain little things that the black box data wouldn't tell. And when they heard that, they started freaking out and didn't want to release it. And my investigator called me and said, "Hey, they're trying to get him a hard time about the vehicle getting towed out of there to the secure facility." And the only thing the reason why they had to release it because their attorneys, the city attorney, told them they already released the vehicle to me. And the only way they can hold on that vehicle, if I say they can hold it, they already released it in my custody. Only way they can hold on to it if I say so. And they know I have a private investigator. I wasn't going to tell them they can keep the vehicle that already turned over to me at that time. So they had me to come up there to sign a paper saying, "Hey, look, we gave it to you," and I did that. So that type deal. So I'm saying is that vehicle always been in my possession the day after it was found. Right, it is sitting in their department, but it was right after it was found, and I finally get it out of there, towed out there a few days after that. So, all right, that's for that part of the question. Okay, LE report says they handed over the vehicle after you and your investigator requested it to do your own forensics, download and met and removed 8 to 4. I'm not really understanding that last part, but first of all, like I told you guys, if you look at the original report, they never ever mention that, right? Sometimes people can say, "Hey, they say this in the report." They're adding things in the report as I talk on the Q&A. They watch the Q&A and they added things in the report. If you look at the original report that I'm gonna share with you guys, and I'm waiting until them continue to do what they're doing, and then I'll show you guys the original report, and you can see all the way they changed paragraphs, sentences, and they have done that already because I have multiple reports where they did that just to fit a narrative they really want to make it look like they did something, right? So you guys, the early report says the vehicle after you and your investor requested to do your own forensics. We never requested to do our own forensics work at the time, right? I asked them to do the forensics work. You know what I'm saying? At the time when the vehicle's already turned over to me, they gave it to me and I had a meeting. Like here it is. I think it was the 20th. Like I said, it was the 20th when they gave the vehicle. I think it was like the 23rd or so. And I would get those exact date for you guys on the Q&A, next Q&A. But on roughly the 23rd, I had a meeting with the whole entire place, the whole entire department. And that's when I requested them to do. I was asking them why they didn't do any kind of forensic work on the scene. There was no forensic markers, this, that, blah. And they said the reason why, because they didn't see any blood with the eyes. They didn't see no blood in the vehicle. That's when I was going to span in there because I know going based on what I see on television and things like that. Hey, don't y'all use these chemicals or some kind of lighting to see what is the matter? Wipe the blood. How you know my son was driving this vehicle? I want to know how y'all know my son was even driving. Somebody else was driving. How y'all know nobody was driving? Well, it's his vehicle. It's obvious he was driving. And that's the smart remark I got from the lieutenant. I mean, not lieutenant, but the I guess sergeant of the detectives at the time. They were sitting at that table, that board table with their whole police staff. So, like I'm saying, when I asked to get that vehicle out, when I came to get that vehicle, my investigator came. We never said we was doing any forensics work on that vehicle. We're just getting it up out of there. My investigator wanted to get the infotainment system out of there as well. So, like I'm saying, these guys have put things in the report. Just everything's gonna be designed to try to make them look a certain way. But you got to still ask yourself this question. They said they handed it over to me after my son, my investigator requested. No, they already handed that vehicle to me on July the 20th, to date a year ago. They handed it over to me on that date. It wasn't that. That's what they're saying. That's the whole point I was trying to make to you guys. One thing they're doing is they know they messed up by doing that, right? So now they're gonna try to make it seem like they did it in a different way. But if they were doing an investigation, you still got to ask yourself a question: why would you be handing anything over to a private investigator in the first place, right? If you're doing investigation, you know, my investigator on newscast telling you guys, they told him directly they were not doing any investigation, you know, at all on my son's case. So That's his word of mouth, what his firsthand knowledge, what they told to him directly. So they wasn't doing no, Vanessa was doing an investigation. They ain't doing no investigation in my son's case. But like I said, they would change things on that report. And your investigator requested to do your own forensics download, and met and removed 8 on the 8-4, I think. Well, my forensic my investigator utilized their download. They the one downloaded the black box data, and was able to get that from them, because they told, like I said again, they told him they weren't doing any investigation. They had no investigation, so they're not doing anything, and they the one handed him that black box data. So to make that clear. All right. I do have a question here from Amber Overton. Did the fake officer ever explain to why he approached Daniel after seeing him with the scope? He said he thought it was kind of strange to see his cars are sitting there in that area, right? And he wanted to go to him and ask him, where the proper place to use his rifle, basically. I can't see a reason why he even approached him. Could Daniel have been in distress, and he just lied about how the interaction went? Anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? Out there in that desert, out there, just being by yourself. And I've been out there. I've been out there many times by myself. And I can tell you, man, it's eerie. It's an eerie thing. Very quiet. You stand still, you can literally hear your own thoughts or something, in a sense. It's so quiet. It's nobody's out there. You rarely see anybody. When I'm out there, I rarely see anybody. And if I do see somebody, I can hear the vehicle from a distance. It's usually be a quad razor. Most of the times razors with young people riding a razor joyriding or something. And but most time I go out there, don't see not a peep of person at all. You may see cattle running around, but you don't see no people. And I don't know. All I know, this guy's story don't make sense no more. It it make him a suspect to me, in my opinion. And a lot of stuff just don't add up, and I don't know why this department. I'm sure now he's gonna be like a suspect because I said something on the Q&A, and they're watching what I say and listen to what I say, so they can go get tips of what they should be doing as a police department a long time ago, and locating what happened to my son, which is a good thing, because anytime I can force a police department to try to make themselves look good and actually do some work, then I'm doing what I came out here to do, is put pressure on them to do the right things, right? So, all right. Thank you, Shauna, for your question as well. Were there 3 socks found that matched one's Daniel's apartment, 2 by the vehicle and 1 in a different location? From my understanding, from my investigator, there was only 1 sock. There was 1 sock found near the well site out there that matched a sock inside the evidence bag that the Buckeye Police Department collected from the scene. So, but as an apartment, he knew that it was my son's sock as well. That's what caused him to want to open up that evidence bag to see, is because the same kind of sock was found. Socks, with a pack of socks, I guess, were found in Daniel's apartment. And so, yes, same type of sock, same type, the color and everything. Only difference is the one that was found near the well site, of course, was sun bleached because it's been sitting out there for a while, you can tell. But it matched the sock inside the evidence bag once he opened that, from the Buckeye Police Department, opened that and examined that, and it matched it up to that sock that was in there. So that's what I know about the sock. All right. So I'm sure they're adding all kind of stuff to that report to really try to help themselves out some type of way. All right. Again, I have a question here, Shauna. Missed question. Have you checked towards White Tank Mountain for more deep inside near where his vehicle was found? Did your son like hiking? Okay, well, one of the things is, there's some of the questions I'm sure someone asked. Have I checked towards the White Tank Mountains? Yeah, we had a little small search over the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, foot searches, but that area over there haven't been searched like I would like to. Like I told you guys, sometimes people say, "Man, you've been searching out there for weeks." Yeah, it's a lot to cover. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to where a person direction the person could have gone or what could have happened. One thing is I'm slow about getting to that other side, the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, because I would generally think if something happened to Daniel and he some kind of made it to the road, he wouldn't go across the road to do anything on the other side, right? Somebody would pick him up from the road, or he would ask for help, or whatever the case may be. I would see him, let me keep going towards the mountain, to the other side, to the east. So that's why more the urgency stayed on to the west side, because that's what we know based on this guy that he went west out there in the desert. So now one thing I have been doing lately, you guys, I do have some drone operator doing some searches over there. We're canvassing the area up to this date. Canvass that area over that side to kind of get an idea where these because there's some vertical mines out that way near the east side on this White Tank Mountain. I just wanted to know I could find their locations, because BLM maps don't show a lot of those, and I want to find out the exact location, so in future searches I could be able to know where to go on that side of Sun Valley Parkway on the east side. So I'll have more avenues to do that as well. So definitely, utilizing that way, looking on that area. But as in near to where, it said near where his vehicle was found. Yes, definitely we did this whole area where this vehicle found. That's on the west side of the Sun Valley Parkway. That's out in the desert, farther out in that desert. We did search all those areas and still continue to have some areas that need to be searched for where the vehicle's found. Did your son like hiking? Yes, he do. Him and his sister, matter of fact, the weekend that he went missing, they had plans to go hiking. They do that a lot. Him and his sister, as well as Daniel would go with his coworker sometime. They go hiking. One thing that I was supposed to be doing in July this month here as well last year is he and I challenge each other. He said he can out hike me, and I was going to go hiking for the first time with him as well. So yeah, he do like hiking as well. So that's one of his hobbies here for Arizona. I think it's one of the things a lot of people like to do here in Arizona is go hiking. All right. Thank you, Shauna, as well. Justin question on vehicle. Ellie report says car was picked up on August 4th, 8/4/21. And that is not accurate. That is not true. But anyway, that's the date they want to put there. But I have a more accurate date for you guys when it comes to when the vehicle was actually picked up. So definitely, even if it was picked up somehow on 8/4, which it wasn't, they turned that vehicle over to me. I think what they're doing right now is trying to fix a way to say, oh, we did some forensics work while I was sitting in that apartment. I'm sure that's going to come up next, right? Because what happened is they didn't do any forensic work on the scene. I have them recorded saying that, as well as a witness, and they cannot say they did forensic work on the scene. They'll say something like, "Oh, we didn't do it on the scene because we was going to take it into the department to do some BS like that." If they was doing some forensics work on that vehicle on July the 20th when they gave it to me, one thing I can tell you from that story that's the truth is that the detective wanted me to touch that vehicle for some reason, in my opinion. Hindsight, looking back, he was like, "Hey, look, why don't you go? Here it is. We're good distance away from the vehicle. Go on over there, Mr. Robinson. Go ahead and look inside the vehicle. Point me out." And I'm looking. I'm stunned, just standing there. Then he said I didn't move. He walked towards the vehicle. We made about 3 feet away. He said, "Yeah, go on there, lift the airbag up," and telling me now, lift the airbag up and looking on in the thing. I wasn't touching that vehicle, not because I say I was being smart. I just couldn't. I was devastated. Then he said I didn't move because he lifted the airbag himself with his hand, no glove, nothing. Lift the airbag himself, looking on in there, saying, point out some stuff. Yeah, this, that, talking about whatever. Then he opened the back door on behind the driver's door. He opened it up and he says, "Go on there and look in there." And I didn't touch nothing again. But I did see an NYPD bag sitting on the seat. I said, "What is that?" He said, "Oh, that's something your son had." And he took the thing and he just opened it, took the little strap thing off and just dumped whatever. I can't remember what was in there. I saw a basketball in the car, and then I saw these little bags of dirt or something, look like rocks and dirt. I didn't know what it was, and I was just stunned, right? But he wanted me to touch it. Go ahead and look inside. And I said, no. I said, man, I went around the other side, tried to get away from him. I said, no, I just had enough. I'm ready to get out of here. And that's when he told me if I didn't get it, pull out of there on that date. they're gonna have it towed and I have to pay storage fees. So that was telling me the vehicle was on the date. What they're doing is trying to give a date when I suppose they had signed this thing. But I told you guys I'll have those accurate dates for you later on. But I can see they're changing some of the things, and I'm telling you guys, one thing people say, hey, when I have a Q&A and I talk about certain things, yes, they're gonna try to do everything they can to make their department look good and to cover, clear up all their mistakes they made and what they didn't do and what they, and things like that. So to kind of dress those things up. All right. So, but I can't tell you I'm not going for that as well. All right. So you guys, yeah. So I think this person have here something I just kind of interested in seeing. Thank you so much, Stacey McCord. I just want to say something. I believe Arizona only gets 8 to 9 inches of rain a year. I don't know the statistics on that, but I can't tell you since I've been here. It rained like I think it was 2 days ago now. Poured down, right? I haven't seen anything like that since November last year, like literally. So, and I can tell you, they say, "Oh, we had the rainy season." And you know what Arizonians call rain. Back in South Carolina, we don't call rain. They can have a rain in the day, and this is no lie. I literally went on the patio, and the clouds came in, the thunder and lightning, and then there was no rain, not a drop of water, right? And then I tried to go out there the next night. This is the rainy season coming in now. So far now, went out there again. I sat there and I felt a little drop hit my skin. I said, "Oh, it's finally gonna rain for real." This time, I started lightning thunder again. Went in the house, no rain, nothing wet on the porch. Right? I left a television, for instance, leave it out, and it could be out there for months and not get one drop of rain. So it don't rain here like that at all. You know what I'm saying? But whenever it do have significant rain like it did the other day, I mean, literally just pour it down. And when you look on the streets and the water was there, that's it. We probably won't go see no more rain for another several weeks or something, So what I'm saying is whenever it do rain, it pour down. If it did pour down real hard, like you saying there, 8 to 9 inches of rain a year, it's no significant rain happens here in Arizona. So I can go back to the whole bottom line is I just don't like when somebody try to I'm not a perfect person. I'm trying my best to do the best I can to find my son, and I'm doing my best to do my investigation onto that. And when a person tried to contradict that, try to make the police department look good somehow, I guess from them not being able to see that that the hard hat, for instance, is an indication somebody is setting something up to stage something. To me, so it angers me in certain areas because it don't make sense, when you don't see rain like that in a state like this. And if it do pour down rain, like it may pour down rain in Chandler or some other little city outside of Phoenix or something like that. Again, it may rain at one time and pour down really hard. They do have flooding. I've seen flooding here on the rainy season when it poured down so hard and they have people get swept away by floods because that water come down so fast and so hard. Yeah, it happens. But it'll only be like a one-day deal. You know what I'm saying? And then it'll probably be another little time for it to happen again. So I'm saying there's not no significant rain where it's always raining because South Carolina, we have rain like literally in the summertime. We have the weather report say no rain because it's so hot. We have so much humidity. And literally we just have isolated thunderstorms that just shows up, just pop up, So we do have rain a lot. And I know what rain really is compared to rain that I see here in Arizona, which is rare. You know what I'm saying? So, and then especially around this time of the year. Yeah, we're coming to rainy season, but I think when Daniel vehicle showed up, this is like the beginning of the monsoon season. So it wasn't deep into the monsoon season at the time. So, and then again, weather report is not going to lie. It was no rain on that day. All right. No matter what the report says, whatever this person said is raining on that day. It was no rain. No weather report says that. All right. Again, thank you guys for coming to this Q&A. Again, thank you for fasting prayer. Thank you for praying for these families who need these prayers. My family, I need prayers. You guys, thank you for your support and your love. Thank you for being here. And again, if you guys could please come back this afternoon for the Q&A prime time. I will be back to answer some more questions as well as close off the fast and prayer for Daniel. Continue to pray for these other families. Continue to support other families as well, because it's a hard thing when you have a missing loved one and you just don't know what to do, and especially when you feel like you're not getting help from law enforcement. So definitely, please, by all means, if you can, support, pray, fast, whatever you have to do. I really appreciate it, guys. All right, love you guys, and I have to get off now and get my day going here. But I'll see you this evening. So thanks so much for being part of this Q&A. God bless. I'll see you soon.